Rock Circus TV. Come out to Hartwood Acres to check out these guys, Phil and Joie from 7Horse. Phenomenal band. They have a new CD coming out, or it's already out. But well, Tuesday. By the time it'll be out by the time we see it. But how you guys doing? Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us, man.
And Phil.
That's right. Hello.
And now the name of the CD, you named it for. You were inspired by a friend's wedding that you were down in New Orleans. Is that basically the gist of it?
Yeah, the record's called Songs for a Voodoo Wedding.
Yes, indeed.
We went down to New Orleans. Well, here it comes right now. Just toss it over.
I'll get it.
All right. Went down to New Orleans with some friends. There it is, Songs for a Voodoo Wedding, and we actually, attended an actual voodoo wedding. There was a live snake involved.
Oh, really? I was wondering what was all involved.
Well, there's a lot of ritual in a voodoo wedding. It's obviously quite different than a regular wedding that you and I have probably gone to in the past. There's some Afro-Cuban kind of influences. There's a Haitian sort of thing.
Yes.
Voodoo. I mean, I don't know a lot about voodoo myself.
No,
I went down there for the
ignorant to the whole
I went down there. I mean, I love the culture down there. I had a great time. I was quite inspired by my trip down there. Mm-hmm. The record's not really about a voodoo wedding, but we were inspired by that. So that's we just thought.
So a lot of the other songs on there come from other things as well.
Yeah, there's a few that come out of that trip to New Orleans, but then there's some other stuff. I mean, we had spent a lot of time on the road and we were writing out there, and we get ideas from all over the place. So.
How was the recording process different this time than when you did your first self-titled debut? Did you do anything differently, or did you do the same thing? How did that work for you?
Yes and yes.
Yeah, we kind of, well, some things were different in that we moved around to some different locations. We did a couple of tracks in Milwaukee while we were out there on the road. We worked at the same studio we were in last time up in Forestville, California. We did a couple of tracks in LA. But our process is usually, through 2 records, it's been pretty similar. We get some ideas together, get them about halfway, 3/4 done. We get in the studio, we get up in the morning, we have some breakfast, we look at each other, we go, what do you want to do today? And what do you got? Well, I got this riff. Okay, well, I got these lyrics. And we were kind of talking, let's talk about that thing we were talking about 2 days ago. All right, let's do that thing. And then we spend the day recording that thing. And then by the end of the night, by about midnight, 1 in the morning, it's done.
You got a song going.
That's how we work day after day.
There was another process, though, that we started doing at the first studio where that session would happen, we'd say goodnight, and then we'd had a late night mini session,
right,
like at 3 to about 3 to 4, maybe 4:30 in the morning, and we would work up something for the next day.
Yeah, the engineer would go to bed, and then we'd sit in front of the console and just push play over and over again, listening back to the track, just kind of refining it a little bit, and then talking about what we were going to do the next day. We weren't sleeping very much, but we were having a good time, that's for sure.
Usually during the recording process, I notice a lot of bands don't get to sleep very much.
You don't sleep too much.
Tough.
You're just fired up, You're so motivated to be creating that, you don't have a lot of time to sleep.
Let's talk about the first track, The Flying High with No ID. It's a phenomenal song. The harmonies on it just really blew me away. I was just like, whoa, man, because it just, like I was telling you earlier, it popped in my head after I had listened to it, which tells me, it resonates a good song when something just pops in your head when you're not even really thinking about it.
We call that being sticky.
Being sticky,
yeah. So, that song was inspired by that trip to New Orleans. I mean, in a very literal way, and then it's also about some other things as well. But the trip to New Orleans, I went to the airport to go down there, opened up my wallet, and I literally did not have my driver's license in my wallet. It was gone. So I found that you can, in fact, get on an airplane without your driver's license. They will let you on the plane if you answer the right questions. But I decided, I don't really like to fly that much, so I decided to sort of soften the trip a little bit with a cannabis lollipop. In Los Angeles and California, we can get those things pretty easy, So I had one, and
we're still in the dark ages out here in
Pennsylvania. Maybe you'll catch up, probably not. But
it's sweeping the nation.
But that song is really about kind of like looking for something that you'll never find,
Yeah, I hear you. I really like it. Now, I wanted to ask you about the Scorsese flick, the Wolf of Wall Street. Now, how did your song end up such a long, it wasn't even just featured. It was like used for 4.5 minutes straight, like over and over in a loop. Is there any reason why Scorsese chose your song for that when the girl was strapping the money to her and the whole bit?
Isn't that awesome?
It's a great scene.
The reason, we don't know.
The universe smiled on us.
Yeah.
Was there a CD that came out with the movie for the music?
The soundtrack, we're on it. Who's on it? It's us, Bo Diddley, Howlin' Wolf. There's some classic artists. We couldn't be more thrilled to be on that disc with those guys because they're all influences of ours. But, you know, every once in a while you catch a break, and that was a break for us. Martin Scorsese hears a song, puts it in his movie. It's just one of those things.
Came out of nowhere. We don't even know how it happened.
Just happy.
You've had over like 750,000 listens on the internet because of it. So you can't undersell the power of a movie, man.
No, man, that's huge. That is huge.
Plus, just the feeling we get for being in a Martin Scorsese movie. It's like you can't. It's done. You can't take it away.
No, it's gonna last forever.
Yeah.
It's the print, you know. So I wanted to ask you about "Please Come On Home." That's one of the songs I really dug on it. Your voice seems to really, it's both you guys, you're both singing on it. But man, I just like it. It just hit chills in my spine listening to. Tell me a little bit how that came about. How the.
Well, that's something that you know, Joey had the riff and the main lyric lines, and we worked up my part in the studio. We kind of thought, well, we need a second part. We had a long discussion about who should sing it. He convinced me that no, we have to have your voice in here. I thought he should do it, but maybe he was right. I think he was.
It's a band argument that kind of resolved itself.
It's a band argument. You know, that's about as heated as it gets between us. You know, sing. No, I don't want to. Yes, you will. All right. But I mean,
to twist his arm, literally.
Yeah, to me, that's like an old school blues. You know, that's like a
it is
like you know, Crossroads kind of you know, the
Howlin' Wolf type.
Yeah, that's old school blues. Yeah. With a Zeppelin kind of a feel to
right,
it.
totally.
Yeah. So that's one of
it's
another
soundtracky kind of feel.
What is a Meth Lab Zoso sticker, anyways?
Well, you know what a Meth Lab is.
I know what that is. Yeah, we've all seen the TV show.
Zoso is you know, from Led Zeppelin.
Jimmy Page. Yeah.
Page's symbol. So if you have a sticker with the word Zoso on it stuck on the outside of a meth lab, that would be a Meth Lab Zoso sticker.
I see.
Then you got to pull it off and roll it up and put it in your pocket.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, I was trying to work through that.
I don't know where that came from, man. I swear to God, I'm walking my dog.
It was just like a ramble of words that worked for you.
That's his line.
This goes right to what he was talking about, how we write, except you didn't say the iPhone part.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of communication. I live in Seattle, he lives in LA. The band's really an LA band. All our gear's in LA, except for maybe one or something, you know, guitars up at my house. But we were just throwing stuff, riffs, and maybe a couple of lyric lines back and forth. And I had that, I think I was heavily into the Led Zeppelin 3, and there was a lot of that, you know, kind of slide open tuning stuff.
There you go.
And just started working on that riff, that thing, and I liked it. And I think it was getting close to the end of Breaking Bad, so it was being talked about a lot.
So it was on your mind.
That's all it was, and it was like, what am I gonna? I want to send this riff to Phil. What am I gonna call it? And I just Meth Lab and then Zoso, and I have no idea where sticker came.
I was wondering if Jimmy Page was even incorporated in that, or if it was like a tear at him.
We haven't heard from him, so I guess we're all right.
Yeah, we're okay.
He's probably digging on it if he hears it. He likes being it. Now you chose for this album to be released on June 10th, and there's a reason for that. It's St. John's Eve, the evening of voodoo or something like that.
I found that out.
That's what the press kit said.
That's what the press kit. Don't believe everything you read.
Yeah, I'm learning this.
It is true.
I mean, but
That's a happy
somebody
accident.
else made that happen.
It just happened to be a coincidence, but we'll take it because, you know, the thing is called Songs for Voodoo Weddings. So we'll take it. As I said again, I don't claim to be an expert in New Orleans culture, voodoo. That's some serious business that those guys are. You don't want to mess around with that.
And all that.
Do not want to mess around with that. I have full respect for the people of New Orleans, their culture. I love it down there. Please don't think I'm, you know, like trying to take advantage. I am not. I have full respect for that
You had a
place.
great time.
I had an amazing time down there, and I want to go back.
You were influenced by it.
Who knows you know, maybe it'll help inspire another album out of you.
You know, I mean, traveling, getting on the road, it inspires you a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you got to live a little bit to write about it. You got to have something to write about.
Well, you guys, I'm going to tie it up because the band's on and it's getting a little loud, a little hard to communicate here. Thank you for coming on. We're going to roll right into what we filmed live today, Flying High with No ID. We're rolling to that right now, right here on Rock Circus TV on YouTube. Cool.
Touchdown in Dallas, got a big connection. Left my lover in the magazine store. Texas blonde, smiling at the counter. Just a kind of thing I'm the pharmacy.